Hello, everybody. So, I decided to go ahead and do a vlog because there's some stuff I want to tell you guys about, and there's also some stuff I kind of want to not rant about, but kind of just talk and get off my chest. So, I hope you guys are up for that. If not, feel free to skip this video. I'm not gonna be saying anything terribly important, although, like I said, I think I remember mentioning to you guys that, the second Scarlet Hollow playthrough, I found it. It's ready for us to go, and we should be ready to play that one. Like I said, plan on it on Monday. I will try to let you guys know if something happens and I can't do it on Monday. The other thing I wanted to mention, I still have $10 on this gift card. And I am right now, I just spent some time looking in Steam. Problem is, there's not a whole lot of games out there. I mean, number one, there's not a whole lot of games out there that are available to play on the Mac, on Apple computers, so there's that issue. But then also, there's an issue of, there's not a lot of games out there that cost like $10 or less. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. Part of me, because it's the end of the month, I'm trying to hold on to the little money that I have until Keith gets paid again. And I already need to ask him to slide me some funds because I gotta reorder my prescriptions and all that stuff. So I'm half tempted to hold on to the gift card until the beginning of next month. And then maybe play some, and then maybe find something, that's maybe a little bit more expensive than the way I can use up the rest of the gift card and use, the other thing. Because there's a couple games I would like to get, but like I said, they're all a little bit over the $10. They're at least like $19.99 or whatever. And so I'm just kind of like, okay. But yeah, I'm thinking of just holding off on that. The other thing that I did want to talk to you guys about, I did end up completely restarting with Echoes of the Plum Grove. So if we start another playthrough of that, I might just have to start up a new playthrough of that. So far it's going fairly well. Nothing's really gone glitchy or anything, fingers crossed. The other games, I'm trying to think of, because the same issue happened with Tiny Bookshop. I would have to start a completely new playthrough, or start a new playthrough, play up to the point where we were when I first had the issues, and then do it that way. So, like, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I want to do, or if I just want to start completely over. You know, it's like Echoes of the Plum Grove. You can have up to 3 different playthroughs going on. I believe they have 3 different save files. But Tiny Bookshop, like I said, and let me know if you guys care at all. Let me know what you guys think. Should we just start completely over from ground zero? Should I start a new playthrough and then just go until the point where we left off the last time? I don't know. The other interesting thing about Tiny Bookshop is that different quests can start or finish at different times. It's not like the same thing happens every single time you play the game. And so I'm like, not sure what I want to do there. The other thing I was thinking of, I don't believe we played Oxenfree yet. Oxenfree is kind of more of a spooky game. I do have one playthrough of it already. But if you guys would be interested in something like that, that's a bit more scary, a bit more supernatural, a bit more, you know, a bit more spooky. If you guys would be interested in that. And then, of course, we play Gone Home. We have Tavern Talk, which I'd be willing to play again. But I have played it a few times already, and it's kind of one of those where pretty much the same thing happens. It just depends on what choices you make. So unless I intentionally made like poor choices, and you gotta know me, I don't really like doing that. Like, I remember this one game back when I played Nancy Drew games all the time. There was this one game where you go to this person's house, and it's like a falling down southern manor. Kind of reminds me of the estate at Scarlet Hollow. But, and so but you're there, like, for a wedding or something, and the bride disappears, and you're like, and you find out all this, it turns into this big mystery, and it's one of the more, is this supernatural type games, and there's this one scene toward the end, spoilers, and I don't remember what it's called. It's like Nancy Drew and the something. But it basically turns out that an aunt or older sister or something of the bride died like years ago, and it kind of turns into was she killed, or was it an accident, or whatever, and throughout the game you can be haunted by the spirit. Well, anyway, toward the end of the game, there's a scene where, cause this girl's mom, I want to say, I don't remember for sure. It's been like really long time since I played this game. But from what I remember, the mom, a fire breaks out, and Nancy's running around trying to get everybody out, and she runs into the girl who died's room, and her mom is just sitting in there, and she's like, let me go, just let me, let me perish, and stuff. And you have the choice. You have actually 3 choices in this game, because there's other people that are trapped in the basement that, need help too. And it's like you choose to save yourself, not save the mom, and, or, or basically attempt to save everybody. And it's not like it makes a huge difference. It's just more of a guilt trip. Like if you run out of the house and they're like, I'm saving myself, bye, then you get like a phone call with one of your friends or something, and it's like, oh, I wish I could go back and do things differently. And it's like, you can, it's a game, and so, but I've never taken either of those bad choices. I've always been like, no, I'm gonna save everybody. Because, again, this is a Nancy Drew game. Nobody's going to permanently die. Nobody's going to, be erased or disappear or whatever. And it's like, and it's one of those games where it's like there's an explanation for the supernatural stuff going on, but at the same time you're kind of like going, I don't know. It's like a little from column A, a little from column B. It might be haunted, might have been carbon monoxide, either or. And just be on the safe side. I'm not suggesting stay in a house where there's carbon monoxide poisoning, because no, you want to get out of there and you want to keep yourself safe and stuff. But again, it's an Nancy Drew game. It's fictional, and they want to give you those options and stuff. But again, I just find it really interesting because it kind of reminds me of one of my favorite games, which was Message in a Haunted Mansion, where it's like, all this weird stuff starts happening in this house you're staying in. Turns out, again, spoilers, but turns out that one of the people who's renovating the mansion wants to amp up the spookiness and bring in people to, do tours and stuff like that. But again, it's like this other game because because there's certain things that happen that you think, there's no way this character could rig that up, kind of thing. And again, it leaves it up to you as player to be like, oh, that was just this, or, ooh, that might be a little unexplained there and stuff. I also really like, because especially in the later games, Nancy kind of talks to people how she's mostly a skeptic, she doesn't tend to believe in ghosts and all that, but at the same time, there's enough that she's seen over her history that I would believe in ghosts, or I would at least keep my mind open to it. But, yeah, so anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, and that's the other thing. Like, I can't go back and play any of these games I enjoyed because they're either only for Windows computers or they're for, or, they're too old or whatever, Like, they won't run on the updated laptop and stuff. So, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like, So, anyway, having said that, I'll probably just hold on to the gift card. I don't want to hold on to it too long because it seems to kind of deactivate after a while, or at least it has in the past with these kind of gift cards. So, like, I don't know. But anyway, so I do plan on getting a different game, but I'm just not sure which one to get right now. So, I guess be patient with me on that. If you have any suggestions for good games, leave them in the comments. I'll look them up on Steam and see if they're available and if they'll run on a Mac and all that stuff. And of course, I'll keep you guys updated too. I'll try to upload another vlog once I, get to the point. Might even be gameplay, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so we also have strange horticulture. We have, which I would like to play for you guys at some point, especially since, again, there are a lot of different endings to that game. But yeah, I do plan on recording and uploading footage of our, second playthrough. And hopefully we'll get some different answers. We'll get some different scenarios going on. Like, the main purpose of the game will, of course, be the same, but yeah. Trying to think of what else. I don't know. I guess I'm just a little frustrated because, like I said, it's the end of the month. We're waiting for Keith to get paid again. And, I've been trying to do some job hunting, but I am not having much luck at all. And, I don't want to just get a job. Just get any job, whatever. Like, I want to do something that I will enjoy. Something that I feel like I can do. And like a lot of the games, like I went on there's a place on the gov.uk website that you can go on, and it like lists jobs based on like location, and even posts on there, if the job is, I believe the term is disability confident, as in, if you have a disability, they will work with you on, the game, and work with you on that. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, it's frustrating because I'm currently without ibuprofen, and like, I don't need it, but I've got an ouch that I'm trying, a wound that I'm trying to heal up, and I got big band-aids for it. Matter of fact, that was one of the things I spent my last decent amount of money on, and so I'm just like, okay, so I got big band-aids, and that helps, because based on where the wound was, it was kind of hard to keep it from, like, sticking to whatever it was I was wearing. And so I got some big band-aids. I currently have that put on, and it's helping. But again, it's just a little sore, and like, I went out. One reason why I went out the other day was I was looking for the big band-aids, and I was looking for like, Neosporin. Basically, I was looking for cream to put on it to help it heal, and I mean, it was funny because it's funny in a way, because like, one of the main places that you go for stuff like that, where I go to pick up my prescriptions, is a store called Boots. And what's funny is I know Boots. I kind of had some knowledge of Boots back when I worked at Walgreens in the beauty department, because they were connected. Like, I don't know exactly how much they were connected, because I wasn't really ever the beauty, I was like a beauty advisor instead of the beauty consultant. And so a lot of it, a lot of the stuff was, like, the person who was beauty consultant where I worked did the trainings and, took the teachings and all that. And I basically just learned by being there and, like, helping people and stuff like that, which is fine, but it also probably didn't help, because I remember trying to apply for other beauty advisor type jobs afterwards and not getting anywhere because I didn't have that specific training, because I wasn't technically the beauty consultant, and so that sucks. But anyway, long story short, so basically the store in our area works. The bottom is like all makeup, hair, accessories, that kind of thing, skincare, nail polish, all that kind of beauty stuff. And then there's escalators, and there's a lift or an elevator that you can take to go to the top floor. And that's where the pharmacy is, and that's where most of the medical stuff is. And like earlier this week, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into town. I'm gonna go into Boots and see if I can find the thing. Well, number one, I hadn't been walking. I hadn't been walking, on a regular basis, so I was tired. Plus, I was getting over this cold or whatever it is I have. And plus, with the, with the wound, I was like, it was a little hard sometimes to walk. So I was like, I got there, got to High Street, made my way down the Boots, went in, because you don't go in right at the main doors. You can go in, and against the wall, one of the far walls is the lift. And as I approached, I saw that they had a load of baskets in front of it, and then I saw the sign that said it was out of order. So I was like, great, So, and I didn't feel comfortable at that point. Sometimes I feel comfortable getting on the escalator, but sometimes I don't. I'm not a huge fan of escalators, especially going down. And so I didn't want to trip and fall or anything like that. So I was just like, okay, we won't go there. And then I was trying to think, where else could I go? And then it hit me on my way back toward the road that I turned onto to go down to go home. I realized, there's a Tesco, which is like a grocery store, but like it sells like other things besides, just food. And so I was like, maybe they would have. And so I walked in there. They didn't have any cream or Neosporin or anything, but they had big Band-Aids. So I was like, aha, we'll get that at least. So I got two of those, 2 packs of those, and they were like 2 pounds or something altogether. I don't remember for sure. And then I caved because I was walking back up toward the front where the self-checkouts were, and I saw a 5-pack of Reese's peanut butter cup Easter eggs. And so I was like, you're coming with me, And so, but yeah, I would have had a bit more money if I hadn't bought those eggs. But at the same time, I'm glad I did because, I'm kind of one of those people, it's like, if I do something helpful, if I do something practical, I like to try and reward myself by doing something non-practical, whether that's playing a game or doing something else or whatever. But yeah, so I was like, And then the funny part is, so there's 2 ways of getting to our building. There's kind of a back entrance, but you have to go up a flight of stairs. And then there's one where you go kind of a longer way, but it wraps around and it's a bit more, it doesn't have the stairs. So I was like, I'm gonna go down because it kind of slopes downhill. And there's like pavement on either side you can walk on. And so I was like walking down the hill. I'd almost made it to the bottom of the hill when all of a sudden I was like, somebody's behind me. I turn around, and it's Keith. And he's like, hello. And he always joshes me about getting out and about, and so, because like I said, there's some weeks where I don't get out and about very much, either because I'm doing other things, or because I don't feel like it, or whatever, or because I'm getting over a cold or something, and then he opened up his satchel bag that he takes to work with him, revealing a McDonald's bag. So then he gets ahead of me and starts wafting the scent back toward me. And I'm like, So we had McDonald's that night, which was very nice. But yeah, and like I said, I think part of the whole me not wanting to spend money, or me not wanting to ask Keith for money, is because, it's the end of the month, and he either gets paid on the 28th or the 1st. I'm not entirely sure. He's gotten paid on the 28th before. So, I don't know if he'll get paid tomorrow or if he'll get paid today, maybe, because it's Friday. Not really sure, but, I think part of me not wanting to do that is because, of how he was raised and all that stuff, and the fact that if I didn't have a job, and if I didn't have money saved up, and if I couldn't, use my own money, then, I hated having to ask either of my parents for money, because they hardly ever gave me anything. I mean, even growing up, I don't remember them giving me money and stuff like that. So, and whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into the favoritism thing or anything like that, because, I don't know. I feel like I've talked about it often enough on my channel that you guys get what happened, what I went through, and, And just because, here's the cool thing. I am safe now. Yeah, there are things I would like to have changed. I would like to be able to find a part-time job so I can start making a little bit of my own money. So that way I can go get snacks if I want to, and I don't have to ask Keith for money. Because the thing is, and I don't want you guys to think that Keith isn't treating me right, because he most certainly does. But it's just, he wants me to not stay in here every single day. He wants me to get out and do things, and, he wants me to find a job, and I want to find a job. Because I want to be able to go out and get to meet other people and make friends, and, or even if it's just the coworker friend type situation where it's like I'm talking to you because we're working together and because I don't want things to be awkward and tense between us, But anyway, yeah, Keith treats me well. It's just, like I said, a lot of it is me, and a lot of it is me not wanting to Because like I said, he might have gotten paid today. He might be getting paid tomorrow. He might not be getting paid until Monday. I don't know 100%, but I also know that I need to ask him for some funds so I can refill my prescription, which, I haven't run out of anything yet, so, that's not a big deal. But at the same time, it's like, and like he's never given me a hard time or refused to give me money or anything like that. But I also know until he gets paid, I need to be a bit more cautious and, all that. So, anyway, that's why I'm not running across the street to get ibuprofen, even though, hopefully it wouldn't cost that much. Hopefully it's not. I mean, I don't think it's that expensive across the street. I think it's something like 53 pence or something like that, which is their version of cents, which is a lot cheaper than it would be if you got Tylenol or whatever, or leave at Walgreens or whatever. But anyway, so, I don't know. I feel like this video has gotten very rambly, and I apologize about that. Like, I don't know, it's, right now I just have a lot of thoughts up in my head. They're kind of jumbled together, and I'm like, oh, I gotta talk about this. Oh, and I gotta let them know about this. Oh, and, kind of want to talk about this issue and stuff like that. And, so, anyway. But in the meantime, like I said, probably will be sometime next week, hopefully Monday, that I go back in and we redo, what's it called? We redo the, our second playthrough of Scarlet Hollow. And I just find it really interesting. Like, I could talk for another hour or two about just Scarlet Hollow and just what we learned in Chapter 5. And also, according to the developers, they made some changes in previous episodes, so we may need to upload a third where we can go at it from ground zero again. I don't know. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that, if you just want to finish the other playthrough we have and then be like, and then wait for, because apparently, according to what the devs said, apparently episode 5 was going to be the biggest episode to drop. And that from here on out, however many other episodes there are, it'll be just like wrapping things up and hopefully hopefully getting to the point where we can where we find out what's going on with the goat in the greenhouse and why Dustin's mom is staying with Dustin in her bureau and why, and what Tabitha really did want with us. you know, and is Tabitha trying to sabotage Sybil? Or is she planning on going along with it, you know? Because honestly, and I'll say for right now, is that I believe Tabitha can be swayed. You know, like, she, especially in certain playthroughs, like, if you haven't gotten her to like you, then yeah, she'll take certain actions. But if you've gotten her to like you, if you've gotten her to sympathize with you and what you're doing and all that, you know, like, she'll help you. She will definitely, she will definitely go up and be like, you know, go with you and stuff. Like, I haven't played playthrough myself yet where Tabitha goes with you to the farms, but I have watched a playthrough where she has, and yeah. Oh, and also, one other thing I wanted to point out, I don't know how many of you guys may have noticed, but the seal in Julius's cabin is not hidden at all. Like, we go down to that basement and we're immediately hit with the vision. And, like, I find that just really interesting. It's like, because, from the way other people have spoken about Julius, it's like, he doesn't have family, I don't think ever got married, and his whole thing is, I want a son, I want a boy, I want someone to carry on my family name and all that. Even though how Pumpkin Child is supposed to do that, I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, so, any hoodles. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, I find that interesting, like, the other seals we found have been hidden, like, they've been behind walls, or they've been in deep dark recesses of the mines, or they've been, or they were buried in the dirt, of a house or whatever. And I'm like, kind of makes me wonder if, 'cause the Tremaines and the Callaways have been feuding for, like, decades, so it kind of makes me wonder if, like, Julius holding a pew-pew on anybody who comes down to his basement, like, it almost makes me wonder if he was, like, if it was part of his traps, because, his house is booby-trapped. So, kind of makes me wonder if, that was part of his thing. Although I don't know if he knew that it would make people faint. I don't know. But anyway, like, I just find it really interesting that his cell is fully out on the wall of his cabin, I mean, it's down in the basement, so you wouldn't know unless you were being drawn to it or unless you went down to the basement and saw it. But, like, I just find it really interesting. But yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna keep talking about that because, like I said, I can keep talking for days about Scarlet Hollow and what I think's going on and who Wayne is, and I have all these questions. It's like the TV show Lost all over again, and hopefully we get better answers this time. But, yeah. So, anyway, I think that's it for now. Not sure what I'm gonna do the rest of the day, but I'm gonna get this uploaded for you guys. You guys can watch this if you want to, if you need something to watch over the weekend. But yeah, so in the meantime, hang in there. I love you guys. Keep safe. Keep as safe as you can. And, yeah. I will talk to you guys later.